To all you Cancerians, hello and welcome. Welcome to your forecast for the year ahead for 2013. And I'm very excited for Cancerians because you're going to have Jupiter in your sign. That is good. That is really good. Now, the flavor of 2013 for all of us is going to be expansion or possibility to expand in those areas that I'm going to talk about for you in specific, but expansion through gaining some more power in some sort of way, and wishes that you had for such a long time finally is going to come to fruition. So for 2013, sorry. Now, how is this going to express itself for Cancerians? I'm going to talk about the planets Jupiter until Pluto, because these are the slower planets and what they are going to do in what kind of houses they're transiting. And also I'm going to talk about the eclipses. So that's for you for Cancer. Now, first of all, let's talk about Pluto and Uranus. So that's going to stay the same. Pluto-Uranus is in a square, and it's really important for Cancerians because you are a cardinal sign and it's happening in the cardinal sign. So that will be the same, that Pluto-Uranus square for the rest of 2013. But with this difference that it is triggered by a benefic planet, Jupiter, in your sign, and it is going to oppose Pluto and is going to square Uranus. I'll talk about that in a minute. But first of all, Jupiter, which is the planet of expansion, which is the planet of possibilities, of opportunities, which is a good planet, has been transiting for a long time your 12th house. And it still will be doing that as from January until the 27th of June. So the first half of the year, Jupiter will still be in that 12th house. It's very good because it's a benefic in a rather difficult house. So for a lot of Cancerians, I think they have found meaning in rest and found meaning in contemplating, in reflecting, and also in spotting their blind spots. And that is a true gift if you can understand your own blind spots through introspections. And that is what has been happening for a lot of Cancerians during last year and also the beginning of 2013, especially when you have an ascendant in Cancer. So the expansion and is really coming from really being still and really being digging into the unconsciousness and reflecting about it, because it's in Gemini, it's the thinking sign. So, but this continues, and then at the end of June until the rest of the year, Jupiter is going to be in your sign. It's going to be in Cancer. Now, that is very positive, and of course some Cancerians will have difficulties, of course. 2013, most people have difficulties with something, but it shows that there is hope for the Cancerians, and it shows that they're going to be expansive. So you're going to grow, you're going to fulfill yourself way more, you're going to understand yourself way more, you're going to find meaning in yourself way more. Don't forget that Jupiter is exalted in Cancer, so it's very nurturing there. So you will feel nurtured in your own body. The only advice is don't go too crazy when it comes to nurturing, literally. But I don't think that will be the case. I think for most people it will be the case of having a possibility to grow, and that is a very good thing, because hope is with you if you've got Jupiter in your sign. And it's also feeling more positive. So maybe your situation is not going to change directly, but your look on it and will be changed, and you will feel more positive. You will have a more helicopter view of your own problems or the challenges that you're dealing with in your life. Now, as I said, this Jupiter is triggering the Uranus-Pluto transit. So all these key areas of your life, which is you, your first house, the 7th house where Pluto is, that other person, and Uranus, the 10th house, which is your career or your social status, all that is going to be triggered around June, July and August, because Jupiter is really going to make a contact, make a telephone line with that Pluto and with that Uranus. Now, what does it mean? When we take Jupiter and Pluto as two ingredients, there is Pluto, the power, the transformative planet, the very powerful planet, and Jupiter, the planet of growth, the planet of expansion. So if you mix the two, it means that. It means a possibility and an opportunity of big growth. So, and as it's happening for you in your first house and in your 7th house, it has to do with you. And it has to do with other people in your life. So the significant other person in your life. So when you are single, let's start with the ones that are single. There is a possibility that you are going to meet someone who is very platonic, who has this certain charm and charisma, and you are going to be attracted by that person, but you are also going to feel that you grow through the connection with that person. But you're also going to feel a kind of a challenge with power, so that you don't want to give all your power away to that person, and that person doesn't overpower you, and the other way around as well. But so it all has to do with learning something that has to do with your own potential, but also has to do with power through that other person. So you're not learning it just because of you are introspective and thinking about things that are happening into your life. No, it's someone else that is really pointing this out, and it always it only will be a challenge when you are not considering that other person. And I think for Cancerians that won't be a problem, or that I think most Cancerians really do consider other people, or maybe you are in Cancerian with a lot of planets in Aries or a very strong first house, but most Cancerians really do take into consideration other people. So it's really a struggle of not a struggle, but a tension between your own power and the power of others. That is really emphasized during that June, July, August situation. But because of that, you are really getting what you always wanted. You are really fulfilling yourself, and you are really gaining a lot of power, personal power, because Jupiter is with you. So the only advice I can give you is just be aware of it. And I don't think that Cancerians are the types that say it's my way or the highway, because if you're going to do that, that platonic person is even going to be gaining power actually. Then it could be a very big power struggle. But yes, it's having strong wishes concerning relationships, and there's nothing wrong with that. This all squares up to Uranus, so in the 10th house, which can also mean that maybe for a lot of Cancerians there is a change in work, and it could happen all of a sudden because it's Uranus. Uranus, things can happen all of a sudden. So maybe you're going to change your job. You're going to just one day you say, I feel enough. I've got enough of it. You're going to take your power, or they're going to say, you can't, or there's going to happen something that they're going to fire you. Now, I don't mean to say, be fearful that you are going to get fired. No, it can also mean just a change of work, and a change of work that you sense within yourself that really is needed to give yourself more freedom. So definitely a lot of Cancerians will need a job that they are more, how do I say that? That they more have the leading role. You know, Cancer is a leader sign. It's an emotional sign, it's a water sign, but it's a leader sign. So I think a lot of Cancerians are going to find their own leaderships towards work. It would also be good for a lot of Cancerians to work on yourself, or to find a boss that is quite, you know, that say, you do your own thing because I trust you, and go ahead and you take that responsibility. If you're not working, it could simply mean that you are more Uranus-like towards other people in general, so that they see that you're doing Uranus type of things. Maybe you're going, maybe you're doing some astrology for yourself, or maybe you're going to do things that, I don't know, with computers or whatever, but something that is not mainstream at all. So when it considers work, don't expect to do just what everybody else is doing. What else? Saturn is for the whole year in Scorpio, and that is your 5th house. And 5th house is your creativity, children. So I mentioned that already. I think that Saturn in that 5th house can simply mean that you're going to become more serious about a hobby, or you're going to become more serious with your children, or there is challenges when it comes to trying to enjoy yourself a little bit more, but you will have to do the effort in some kind of way with Saturn there in your 5th house. But it's sextiling Pluto for many months of the year, for January, February, March and September. That Saturn in your 5th is sextiling Pluto in the 7th, and it's a mutual reception. So Pluto is in the sign of Capricorn, and Saturn is in the sign of Pluto, you could say, so in modern astrology. And so yes, Pluto is in the sign of Saturn. This means that those two are working together, and the energies is hard work, discipline. So maybe with a loved one, you're trying to educate your children better. You're trying to do effort when it comes to that. Or maybe you are working on a creative project together with someone you know very well, someone who's very close to you. Or maybe you're going to set up your own business with that Saturn sextiling Pluto with a business partner, and really been able to work very hard and to work very focused, because that's the energy, manifesting growth by working hard. So that's very good as well. And then we've got finally Neptune in Pisces, which is beautifully trining your sign, and it's in your 9th house. So it means that yes, for a lot of Cancerians, they can open up spiritually. They can travel to watery places because it's Neptune, or they can simply have a higher connection with all there is. And that's also a very beautiful thing, especially for Cancerians who need connections. What else? The solar eclipses, very shortly. It's not going to be in your sign, but it's important because the moon is involved. So the first solar eclipse is the 10th of May, and that will be the sun and the moon together in Taurus, and that is your 11th house. So expect some things that you want, or wishes that you want to do, a new beginning there. Excuse me. Following 25th of May, there is a lunar eclipse, so a moon opposition with the sun. In Sagittarius, the eclipse, very interesting also, the 18th of October, there's a lunar eclipse at 25 degrees of Aries. So that's also very interesting, because that happens in your 10th house of work. And so it will be an emphasis on work. around that area. And then the 3rd of November there's a solar eclipse finally in Scorpio at 11 degrees. So there is the sun and the moon in Scorpio, and that is your 5th house. So also a new start when it comes to your creative personality and being expressive. So a very exciting year for Cancerians, very interesting year. I wish you all the best, and bye bye. See you soon.